Tizo.
Wagwan popcorn.
Another week, another episode, but boys, Repa Bridge. What it do, Mr. 4000? What happened, 4000?
Wang visa, I'm a 4,000.
4,000.
2. Yeah.
Do you know when I saw that statistic that said 4,000 shows in the West End and like try to compute what that, like, that's ridiculous.
Stupid.
That's ridiculous.
Stupid numbers.
Nah, well done, man.
Stupid numbers. Stupid
numbers.
numbers.
So, hey, welcome, man. Welcome. Jonasi, how are you feeling? Did you have a moment though where you were like, dang, I'm that guy?
Bro, pagachemewa. Like
for real?
That Sunday, bro, everybody was weeping, bro.
No, but were you crying on a like employment chapter thing or like emotions? What was it?
For me, it was.
I know for you it wasn't an employment thing because you were like, Ditori, Magara said, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up, guys.
Let's wrap it up. I still 5-6 minutes because Ditori yes out. I don't know about y'all.
I don't know about you niggas, but you me. Nah, it was, bro. It's 16 months seeing the same people 7 days a week. 8 shows a week, sometimes 9 shows a week.
Yeah.
I've had castmates who had babies whilst we were on the show, and their babies celebrated their 1-year birthday whilst we were still on the show.
That's crazy. That's a lot of time with human beings.
That's a lot of time with the same people, and you're bound by the stresses of everything and whatnot. So it was, and everyone was just so ace. There's the most loveliest bunch of people ever, So yes, it was.
Okay.
It was.
What are you like though? What are you like? Are you like a professional? Like, I come to work, I clock in, buddy, but like after a job is done, hey, you man, you see me,
I think amongst that entire cast, I literally had a reputation for Manawa. Nobody knows.
Right.
After we leave here. Like in many ways I don't want to say the runt of the litter or the but I was the guy who group chat. If I ever replied in the group chat, the whole company-wide group chat, people would be like,
Bigfoot, unless Bigfoot sighting. But man, just wanted to say, very, 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 very proud of you. 4,000 shows, West End. Can only imagine where it goes from here. 54, 60 coming up. We'll get into the details of that. But obviously, you know, Pabridge no Tanganeshi nekutenda vanenge vatambanidza ruoko and that. And here's the special something, because we're always thinking of ways to level, to increase the production value. Here's the thing. Tane theme song yezvipo. Tane theme song, because zita rako paringe richitaurwa veve unenge uchinyatsonzwa. That's what we're doing here.
You know what? That's psychology. That's pressure.
You know what time it is. Right, vabereki yanguva yezvipo ka tinangotenda vakasunungura ruoko rwavo kutenda vakomana vepabridge vachitenga makofi, tenga maplate esadza. Inzwa. Right. Tulangotanga nekutenda Yolanda Ruvinga. Anzi ndauya nemkono wangu we2 maplates esadza. And I'm a BFF supporter from episode 1. Thank you guys. Nekutisekesa. To be honest, I find the podcast very informative. King Kandoro, may you drop top 10 books or top 5 books. Zekuti anytime, any day, munogona ngodzokoroza again and again. Thank you. I'm asking that in a polite way. One love, BFF supporter. This is Yolanda Ruvinga. What's the difference?
You see, that's how you know. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was so enthralled by that. That. It's not only that. It's the song, bro.
Yes.
Yo, stop it.
Into a number.
Stop it.
Production quality. The boys are not playing.
Listen.
Every time you heard this, you would know what yanguva ezvipo. Yanguva yekwaziso ukubingelelana.
Bang up, bro. I couldn't think of a more befitting tune to underscore this.
Anzina African, thank you guys. I'm entertained. Ndobauya ne plate yesadza. Mamo ndobauya kwanza. I'm still in celebratory mode. 1 plate for Munashe. Happy birthday. Consistency yenyu is commendable. So butter in a papa in a plate. Then Mildred Noctula Gambo. Ndobauya ne 3 plates yesadza. This is your big sis here. I've enjoyed bridge from day one. Akaka protection fee boys zangu. Tinokutenda ICC. Then Farai Takawira ndovauya nemkono wako we2 maplates esadza. And keep up the good work boys nangu. Keith Mahove ndovasvika ndovat boys. Ko Anatolia, is she too bougie to tune a boys river bridge? I really say, because I know you guys always deliver. I can't wait for that episode, and I'm also looking forward to Gemma fire emoji. Then PT ndovauya ne. I think these are the coffees for this week. Hey. Saka inzwaiga kana uruda kunzwa zita rako richitaurwa pachirira kambo
nekazuke panhefenyuro.
You know what to do. Tambanudza ruoko kungosvika pa buymeacoffee.com/black and forth. Ndoda kutenda pane hama yedu yakauya kuInstagram ikati ndoda number dzeEcoCash. Because ndoda kukanda something kuEcoCash. Tanzi, hi guys, ndokumbirawo EcoCash number yenyu yekutumira ma-offerings to the podcast. Mari ye package yaramba, but I can at least buy you my visit ekunwapa bridge. Ndobva atumira mukono wake we20 noj, 20 dombi. Totenga 5 mapackage mafrizit anonze Malin. Big shout out to you, Skana, Malin Mutseura. Thank you so much. Tudakutenda. Saka I'm saying andi makunzo wati pane kasong. Kanamba. Kana uda kutendwa nemakono pa bridge. You know what to do. Kungotambanudza ruoko kubvisa kambishana. Now imagine kana podcast iri kutanga like this. What are the vibes going to be the rest of the episode?
Now imagine what are the vibes going to be when we do our live podcast recording live
19 July
Birmingham Midlands
Arts Center. Listen, the show is starting at 6 p.m. Sharp. Trukuti isusu uyai makapfeka hembe dzepa Christmas. Uyai makapfeka hembe dzeku town. Because you never know, you could be meeting your husband. but I know
slap bang in the middle of summer.
And here's the crazy thing: these are things that sell themselves. There's no if at this point, honestly, I don't even want to speak, but yeah, 19 July, we are at Birmingham Arts Center. One of the most exciting things in this episode is obviously we are unveiling a new sponsor. We've been tinkering around with the details, and we can finally reveal to you guys, Kuti, we have an exciting sponsor coming on board, and they're going to be sponsoring our top 5 segments. So from here on out, these top 5s are going to be proudly brought to you by Chimanimani Coffee. Anomuona mukomana paunozoona kuti dzimwe nguva ruoko rwaMwari. The nights have been getting long. You realize that you are traveling up and down. 2 kids flying down the Ningirikini.
I'm catching the red eye.
There's night shifts,
midnight
long nights,
daddy daycare duty.
But even on this podcast, we've been recording this episode usiku. My Maita is a big coffee person. The entire close to 9 years that I've known her. And from time to time, unombochachura Ningirikini. But I noticed myself late last year kuti iwe ndakutotanga kutorova coffee zvazvekuti no one has Ningirikini. And for these guys to now show up and say, King, we think we can partner with this, and you're like,
how did you know?
Because
how did you know?
Look at this.
Look at the packaging.
Look at this.
Look at that.
This is coffee for kings by kings. I wish you could smell this.
It will make a crown. It will make a crown.
So this is coffee that is sourced from the Vumba, from the Eastern Highlands in Zimbabwe. It's made, so when you buy it, you're supporting your people. You're not just supporting the people that it's Zimbabwean coffee.
And these are markets that aren't usually dominated by like that. So when you see the people penetrating such markets, come on. Come on.
And you see those people coming on to support your favorite podcast, I think. So, big shout out to Chimanimani Coffee for joining the family. More details coming when we get to, and we have a banger of a top 5. I mean, we kind of already
we
spoke about it last episode, but we have a banger top 5 that's coming up. But before we get into the let's do we have any more housekeeping, Mr. Chirisa? Let us know about when does your show open, and where can people find details?
Show opens. I realized that I had my wires crossed. Show opens 14th of June.
Okay.
And finishes 12th of July. Again, you know what's mad?
Yeah.
Again, the amount of people who decided on Saturday and Sunday to say, to play that goes wrong. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. As if I haven't been for the past.
Let's not even dwell on them. They will are frustrated. Let's not even dwell on them. But the people that want to come to 5460,
but there's some who came on Sunday and I felt so bad, and I was like, guys,
you shouldn't feel bad.
Told y'all.
5460, where can people get tickets?
5460, you can get them Alcola Theatre. If you search Alcola Theatre, you go on the website, what's on 5460, you won't miss it. In any hold people's hands in this digital age. Like I tell someone the play that goes wrong, and you're gonna say, send me the details. Anyway, that's Google the play that goes wrong. The first thing that's gonna come up is going to be play that goes wrong, Duchess Theatre.
Sorry, Mdara. Sorry. So with this one, is it similar run Monday to Friday, or what, like Monday to Sunday? What is it like the run on the day?
This is Monday to Saturday. There's no shows on Sunday.
Okay.
One matinee on Saturday afternoon and evening show. But it's a Monday to Saturday thing. Again, limited run, 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month.
If again,
in and out.
Because I'll tell you for free, in mari yangu inenge chipinda bank account every Friday.
Can I also spill? No, let's do this later. But ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, put your digital hands together and help us welcome the man who almost the man who fumbled $1 million. None other than the boy from Chimanimani. Big up, big up, Long Johnson.
Fumbled. Wait. I didn't fumble the $1 million. What are you talking about?
Let me. I don't want to Johnson.
Yeah.
Panapa. Podcast inoi zvinhu zvaMwari chezvo takangoivengera just to hate on camera, just to hate.
Saka
iwo zvekuti unoya Panapa uchiti ndandiri paAmericas go, I'm a finalist. No. Isusu will spin it a way that makes us feel comfortable. That makes us comfortable.
No, top 5 finalists. I smelled the million. I smelled it. Okay.
That's what I'm.
We know that.
Have you ever been so close?
We know that. We know that. But we will phrase it in a way that makes us feel comfortable.
No.
I know.
What about you?
Aiwa Panapa tinabasa kana pane zvinhu zvasinabasa nazvo.
Aiwa. Panapa tinotohita.
Panapa. Welcome, man. Welcome. How you doing, bro?
Panapa
I'm good.
Kana Drake akauya tinotizvina mfesa akadyiwa naKendrick Lamar.
It's good to know.
Tichitomuoka madirector na. What a put.
I accept it. Yes, I definitely lost the $1 million, but won so many things. Yeah.
Did you in your comedy brain when they were, because you're so close, right? Like at that point anything can happen, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And me knowing you the way that I know you, because zakuti million yoyo wangu waishandisa somewhere.
No, I had already in my head I already had stuff. Popping bottles I was there. In my mind, I was there making it rain.
Yeah. Jokes aside though, what would you spend $1 million on? Like, let's say takupa ningirigini Johnson.
Why winner? Boom. In an alternate universe you won it. Ew. What did that Long John do with it?
First of all, I'll make sure that I'm single. I think that's the first one. I mean, come on.
Why?
Guys.
Why is that the first one?
No, we all know. We all know.
I get that. Honestly, I get it.
I know you're married, but let's talk about this.
You mean all right? You mean single as in not married, but
not married. Yes.
Okay.
First of all. Okay. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I get you.
Yeah, you understand. No, yeah. At least I'm not the only one. But
yeah.
I think I'll invest in land, man. I would have invested in land, in a bunch of land. That's what I would do.
Not.
Nah, all over. It's Bomira. Twitter Kuzim. Yeah.
But so now when it didn't happen, did part of you in your comedy brain now think, there go those Chimanimani people again?
No, let me tell you something. I am glad I didn't win it, to be honest. Because thinking about where I come from and my people, I'll be dead already.
Is it a real thing? It's Chimanimani.
Because they get a lot of flack, bro.
I've seen things in Nini. gogazi wangu anotoziya every muroyi wese anomziya
ndotobayiwa mudede vedu ndovane registry
ndovane registry revaroyi vese ndara. I'm telling you, my grandmother, don't mess. Especially people that owe her money.
Bro, this is such a chaotic way to welcome Johnson.
I know.
Welcome, this is welcome a bridge, man. We're so happy to have you, man. And I think
why is it called a bridge? No. Why is it called a bridge? Explain this to me.
Munashi, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it. So here, I want to say the vibe and the general conduct and how things happen here. We have just such a laxed manner and approach to things akin to my niggas arango tandaraba bridge.
I get it.
Unaweza ghetto kana makachikoka pagoronga.
Exactly.
On the local goronga makada.
Exactly. Deep heart. Mchitaura nyaya dzenyu dzimwe zaya so. Muchiwanzirana so.
Muchiwanzirana. Pakambopfura kanjambisi. Wanombonzinda over achimhanya pata rake robva radzupuka ombodibvisa obva abatanidza waya yake obva ridzora obva aita carry on with the
carry on. Kana fight bijana mbele.
Bomboita you know bridge.
I know bridge.
So that's it. That's the vibe. Narrow conspiracy theories.
We've all been there.
My jokes,
all these my jokes, nyaya, kurairana, kutsiurana, everything.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the vibe.
But Panaba, the only thing that's not akin to bridge is Zepanaba.
I don't know about that one. But anyway, let's continue. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to believe in yourself.
All right.
Want to remind you, John, so we tell our guests this every time. Kuti John, so vane sugar ndisu pana.
No.
It's a dictatorship.
Vane sugar ndisu pana.
What?
But man, it's been inspiring seeing the things that you're doing in the States, man. You've been there. How long is it now?
I think it's almost 5 years. 4-5 years. Yes.
Right? Yeah. And
so I'm new. I think as soon as I said it, I realized what just happened.
I don't know.
I know.
The thing is, John, so wajaira kusangana nevanhu takutoonongo uchivhara
you're right. No, I red-handed. I forgot for a second who I'm talking to. For
just a second.
But that's all. Yes, I know. Don't do
that.
I want to take you back. I want to take you back to going to the UK, right? No.
To the US.
Going to the US.
Yes.
Going to the US and versus now. The plan yawakabva nayo kuZim / South Africa versus where you are now. Like what does what does that look like in terms of other things that you're doing now, the things that you set out to do, or did at some point you be like, okay, that original plan was Yemuna angasiri kuziva things on the ground. Let me walk us through that.
Oh, definitely. I'll tell you that. As soon as you arrive in this country, you realize the vision you had in your mind of America is not it at all. There's more. So you have to pivot a little bit. As soon as I arrived in this country, my material, my goals, like I wanted to Yes.
Munash.
Mandras.
Wamunzwa mkomana. Wamunzwa mkomana. It's pivot. What
No. Listen.
What did you?
Listen. The minute pivot came out of his mouth, what?
Because it didn't in my head. It didn't in my head. I was like, Johnson, yo. Pivot. You know the pivot.
Pivot. You have to pivot. Man said we have to pivot. Man said we have to pivot. Man said you have to pivot.
It's a long time.
You have to pivot. You have to pivot.
Okay.
Sorry.
You pivoted.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now I have to switch for my Ndao accent. Yes.
No.
Chimanimani. Download. So let's rewind.
Yeah.
So when I came to America, I realized immediately that what I had in my head, the America I had in my head, is not what's on the ground in terms of the industry and the material itself, and how there is different political separations, like there's boundaries, within America, in terms of beliefs, culture, and just history and all of that stuff.
Ideology, the whole thing.
So it's all about communication.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I said it right. I thought you guys were gonna be like,
No.
You're on a roll now. You're on a roll.
We can't pass
it's good to know. Thank you for the reminder.
So
we'll catch you when you least expect it. Don't worry.
We'll catch you.
Okay. I appreciate that. You need friends like this.
Get your guard down. Yeah, get your guard down.
Yeah. So I realized I had to learn the culture first.
Right. How long did that take you to realize?
So I realized that immediately. My first show.
Right.
My first ever show performing, I had material that I had written while I was in Zimbabwe.
When I get there,
that's the material for America. Wow. And I'm writing it, performing it to Zimbabweans, and I'm like, this will work in America. Coming here, first show, I was like, no, I am so far away,
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not funny, they didn't understand.
It's not relatable to
them. Yes. Okay. Like, for example, how do you explain witchcraft to an American? How do you explain that?
Right.
What is that to them? Because you're like, okay, Harry Potter.
Even that to them is a foreign concept. Yeah.
You see,
maybe in the UK, Harry Potter, it'll fly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But also, how do you explain a tokolosh to a white person?
But
what I'm trying to say is, yes, explaining, like trying to, tell them about your culture and educate them, it was tough because I didn't know who I'm communicating to. So the more I started traveling around America in small, like rural areas in America. I'm talking about Umusha, America.
Yeah.
Where they live in trailer parks.
Them man.
They don't have, and the only Africa they know is the one from Somalia with those documentaries,
Yeah.
So they see you
Nunzi chilling on the eyeball.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, where is that fly? Did you ever, Have
you ever met one? Did you have one?
What was his name? Was he like a pet? So, yes. So, I'm performing for these people. I'm realizing, oh, no. They don't know anything. So how can I get in?
Right.
So I started learning about their culture, the football, how they talk, pivot. Yeah. It becomes part of you. In my dreams, I say pivot. Sometimes I surprise myself. I never used to say that in my dreams. But But then you go to places like New York, where it's a completely different America, you see.
Right.
Even the comedies there is totally different. So learning to be able to, pivot is that's what made, that's what gave me the confidence on stage to be on that show.
Then again, you have also you being a guy who came from Chimanimani and came to Harare, and then even couldn't, because the one thing that I always knew about you, you were always like forward thinking, right? In terms of like even before anyone saw the South Africa move, you were already getting on buses, getting, and it didn't make sense to us. I mean, when I arrived from school, I found you work Twitter. I think maybe you were like maybe 2 years, 3 years in, and I don't know,
2-3
years in, right? But even part that within the people that you started with, no one was seeing those South Africa moves, right? At first, you started, you would go and come back, and then one day you went and never came back.
Yeah, no, like that's the story. That's the
God, he did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he did.
But I bring that up in terms of like showing, like you've always been willing to adapt to those circumstances, because even like I think you're one of the first to do like even an Kenya, Uganda, and places like
even
that.
now, the thing is, I remember the dream was an African comedian with a global fan base.
Right.
A global comedian, but without forgetting,
how far along are you to that dream? Where are you with that dream?
Yo, it's so crazy. For the first time ever, I'm saying this out loud, and that you just said something to me. Like, this question to me is something I haven't asked myself after America's Got Talent. When you just say that, I had a glimpse of, oh, wait a minute, I'm in America, I'm doing the thing.
Jokes aside, no matter how lost we might get in this conversation, because we're having too much fun, the gist of this is we are so proud of you.
I appreciate that, man.
We are extremely proud.
That means
like
a lot to me.
The main reason for having you here was just so that we could we're such big fans, bro, and we
appreciate that.
Can't wait to see.
I didn't have the fortune of mixing and fraternizing with you, man, on the ground at grassroots level.
Wango story properly straight meter munash. That wasn't meter to Wango sip.
The thing you
don't know is
that was a go now inini but G list.
No, bro, I'll tell you why. Had I been snubbed off that meter list, I would have been the loudest on the hey, fuck Long John bandwagon. I would have. People make fan pages. I would have made an anti-Long John fan page. Personal Long John. I don't know if there's ever been such a thing, but I would have been the first.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. When stand-up comedy in Zim was, I'm talking grassroots levels, and I was here in the UK, and I was like, my ambition starting stand-up was like, I want to be the first Zimbabwean stand-up comedy who's proper Zimbabwean, killing the ting. And then, given the advent of social media and whatnot, I then got exposed to this blooming industry when I was like, oh shit,
there's like-minded people.
This niggas
doing
snap.
Yeah.
Who this man? Oh my God.
I remember reaching out to you. Yes.
And Long John is amongst those people.
Yeah.
A hard and a Long John. And I mean, at that point, an acute Dube and
Simba
Cow,
the Comic King.
they already look like they already had a foot in.
A foot in, yes. Yeah.
Is, you know, in the type of stuff. But the people I always felt like are my contemporaries was definitely Long John.
I feel the same way, bro.
Nana Simba. So even from Kuvakdara Ikoko, we'd always shoot the odd. Hey, Jimdara.
Yes. Did you say? I want to come that side. I want to come that side and say hi.
Hey, bro.
Bruh,
and my joke said that are so rough and refined.
Oh, that man.
But chingo duma murime
chingo right.
Chingo feeling our way through.
I love that. No, man.
Tongo duma na murima tutange Mr. Magoo from time to time.
Dude. But Tirimo. I love that.
You know, and the same as Kandoro. You know, I was like, hey,
me and Kandoro Manje, we met. First time really speaking to you was at was it Gabby's Showtime comedy? Really? Was it Showtime comedy? Was it Simuka?
I feel like it was before that though.
It wasn't.
When was that?
I think it was. Simuka. I think it was. It would have been before. No, it wasn't. It like those Maestro Chakadaro gigs.
Was Simuka already a thing then?
Yeah, Simuka was. Yeah,
because then we started doing Showtime together.
Yes, we started doing Showtime together
in the Avenue. There was a show in the Avenue. It's called Showtime for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Showtime.
We all know the joke.
How fitting.
Perfect.
And but I think we had come across each other. Kunana. Jonso. The first time me and you met was there was a comedy lab thing that was done. You remember Promoter Republic on the foyer? It was just you, me, and Fato.
Yes. I remember that.
That was the first time we met. That was the first time we met, and I think that's 2016.
Wow.
Yes, that's 2016.
Bro, that's crazy. I forgot about that. I forgot.
Because it couldn't have been Gabby's. It couldn't have been Gabby's.
It couldn't be Gabby's.
And then after that, I think there were these shows in between Vanashia Zandi and Chakadaro because it would move.
Yeah.
And then Gabby's became the thing that we almost like kind of took ownership with the other
and
young guys.
We came from far, bruh. Yo.
We used to walk after shows from Gabby's to 4th to
Travel Plaza. Yeah, Chisimbi sana. Numpark me, chitaka numpark me amya. You
when it works out, and you know the crazy thing is, even then we would be criticizing other people's jokes.
Definitely.
I think Trevor Noah, he needs to do this. I think he's this is what he can do. You should do it better. I feel like we were always so ambitious.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, it's man, simpler time. Your arrival in the US. Did it not almost threaten to undo all the time you had put in? Because I'm assuming from the outside looking in, Kuti, you are entering an establishment that is already defined. It has its hierarchies. No one wants you to jump the queue.
Of course.
No one cares that you are a Pan-African comedian from Savannah.
Nobody cares.
No. But so how did you navigate that in terms of like, was it I'm willing to start from zero here, or I am going to do certain things to show them, no, kwandiri kubva nditori someone, I'm not just a, what was that like?
No, I totally understand where you're coming from with this question. Because with me, it was more of, I know the dream and I'm willing to start over from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, I had performed in Kenya, Rwanda, all of these places, you know, and every time when I'm in those countries, there was always something, like a goal that I always had, and I had to follow it, you know.
Yeah.
So me coming here was starting over from scratch. I remember I came to Pittsburgh. I moved to Pittsburgh. That was the first city. And I went to an open mic, signed up to an open mic, and it was only 4 people in there, and we're all comedians. So we're all telling jokes to each other, you know.
Welcome to the club.
In Pittsburgh, panzvimbo dzinotaurwa kuZimbabwe kunzi kuAmerica, it's
Pittsburgh.
It's Chimanimani.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
it's Chimanimani. No one leaves Zimbabwe saying
I'm
now
going
you're going
to
Pittsburgh and you're performing for 4 people again.
You see now.
Gabi's
No, but here's another way to look at it, though.
Yeah.
So all the work I have done, I had been doing South Africa, Zimbabwe, all this work. When I was back in that same stage when there's 4 people, I was there. I've been there before.
Right. You were prepared.
It's not new. Yes, I knew what was needed for me to be able to get those 4 people to become 5, 10, 15, because I had done the work back home. You know, I've been on a stage like that before. I knew that if I get good here and somebody sees me, then
I'm golden.
That's it. I already have more experience than most comedians that I'm performing with in that open mic. So my place will find me. That's just it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just get good.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So I would go to the bus. So remember, the same thing when I was going to South Africa with a bus, I would go to New York with a train, for hours to New York here. And I would do gigs. I'll go to Atlanta. It's close by from Pittsburgh. Another train ride. Washington, D.C. Do those open mics. But the open mics kept getting better because I was good at, what I was doing, experience, and it just, people be like, who is that guy? How long have you been here? Wow. And then they think, come to my show.
They think you're starting off at the same starting point as they are.
Exactly.
Little do they know that you see what this route you man are doing. I've done it twice over.
Twice. I'll tell you a story.
This is my third iteration of it.
Let me tell you a story. I remember I went to Boston for the Boston comedy competition.
Yeah.
I had I think $5 in my pocket. Wow. I was not allowed to work, by the way. I was not allowed to work, but I was allowed to do competitions. So train ride to Boston. That's like a 2 days ride, right? I arrived there. I'm doing a competition with a lot of comedians. Like I'm talking about, I think 100 and something comedians competing for 5,000.
Wow.
The first show, I remember they put me on first.
Right.
Boom. And they always feed you to the lions.
Yes.
Why did they put you on first?
They
always do that.
Okay.
No, listen.
I'm new. They've never heard of me. Nobody's ever heard of me.
Okay. How did that go?
Feed that nigga to the lions.
Yeah, bruh. I've been there. I've been in South Africa at the Shakers Comedy Club, and they're like, go first. Then there's no intro, there's no opener, there's no MC. I just grab the mic, do your thing. So me having a host that night was an advantage.
Right.
So they had no idea, man.
First.
I went first, Ndara. The show, I'm not bragging, but the show started from here, and the other comedians started performing. Yes. That's when people are like, who are you? It's the experience from back home. I had done the work. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, I feel you. 100%. I remember the first ever gigs that I would get booked to say, okay, I'm now part of a lineup of. It's no longer open mic where
Open
sometimes
mic, you know.
you're literally drawing names out of a hat or who's
That's what happened. Sometimes
the
you
type
pay to
stuff.
perform.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember the first time I was amongst acts who've been paid to be there, and some nigga said, "Oh, you want to be a comedian? The African Comedy Festival, Gold is Green, brother. Like 1,000 people of a room. Once in front of, hey, wait, Candido Mike, and then
Robert Tony.
you Afi cook." For I had a string of those. You have to.
You have to. That's it. You
You
know.
have to.
Yeah.
Now we're at a point where you get to a comedy show and you're like, don't.
No, but I like the way you did it though, because I think that speaks to humility and like the willingness to do that part. Like foresightedness. Yekuti, I know where I'm going, and if it means I have to eat humble pie now to set myself up, but also I recognize the Zimbabwean in you there.
Yeah.
In that move that you pulled, because that's like transferring to a new school of what don't gonna grade 1. You are grade 4.
No,
You
but I
are
did
grade
want
4.
it.
Happy.
That's
Happy to
grade
do
4.
it.
No. It's okay.
But
It's
I
okay.
did shasha.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No. It's okay. It's okay. Andina angu results actually. It's okay. That's what you transfer, but anama report card.
Perfect.
So, okay.
That's a perfect example.
That's grade 1. That's 1 plus 1 2.
That's true. That's exactly what happened.
No, that's amazing, man. Aba Johnson rakareba darika munhu wese
vakareba pura teacher.
No one suspected
true.
How's it grade 1?
How's German? You remember that nigga that who came to your school in Form 4?
Urikona ndebvudza nadzo idzi 2007 German vakashow up vachitanzi ndiri Form 3.
This time syllabus on a bare familiarity. In fact, he was so familiar with the syllabus. He looked at it like, nah. Vakati ziso harichabude muexam yebiology.
Bro.
We're no longer having to annotate the eyeball. That's outdated. I think humans should focus on the heart and the kidney.
Bro. Last week, John, so we had a very contentious episode that included a lot of stuff from Henry Olong. I don't know if you saw his comments. I think a lot of people came out and said, I think you guys are being too harsh.
A little harsh on them.
I realize now in the edit, Kuti, I think because Panaba, Tiribo is really passionate. The way those comments were off the cuff and thrown in a very casual manner, it looked like Zhanga Zhaku included Isusu, even the people that support cricket or watch cricket, who's Zimbabwean, Ma Zimbabwean. Could even before Atukwa, he had already had Ma Zimbabwean Akanditi. But those Zimbabweans did not deny Henry Olonga. We were not part and parcel of that decision. As a matter of fact, for a long time, I know Henry Olonga existed in people's mind as the guy that that we didn't understand. I think that's honestly what I realized. Kuti, I didn't articulate myself well. Kuti, that when you now say things like, I like belonging to a team, to a country that can win a game of cricket. When you're now saying, I don't feel Zimbabwean in the truest. Those
that cricket one, let's not act like that wasn't spicy. Come on, that was spicy. That was spicy.
And then there was also a lot of comments that were correcting us kuti makabalanza Pacific Blue ne Flipper. Thank you guys. We did that. I realized as soon as they say that.
We did. No. We did.
It's
good to own up. You guys are owning up. I love that.
No. I was bridge Panapa trivial transparency. And here's the thing, Panapa Johnson. Panapa atite zva humility zvekuti tinoti ukati hanzi makaipa toti isu here thanks
in fact we can turn around and say we got it wrong. So what?
I can tell what you guys didn't grow up in a way there's witchcraft.
Now
my grandmother does listen. First of all, you don't brag. That's the first rule of where I come from. You die.
Let me actually tell you, John. So there's certain things even some of the questions are true to kubvunza ndekuti paruto pindura ini ndenda katogara unondeti that was a really good question.
I killed that. Wow. What a way to extract.
What a way to extract
information.
This is incredible.
Profound.
No.
This is profound question.
This is Fabrice.
Does your mother approve of this?
Wow.
Vanenge vachitupa gokora vachito encourage.
But I don't know if you guys are caught up on this. In this Zimbabwe, there's the most current issue right now that everyone is talking about is obviously TRABABLAS, the newly commissioned highway exchange. There's a very fancy roundabout.
The
Can I say something?
What are your thoughts?
Whoa.
Please share.
Don't you remember this joke?
Which one?
Remember this joke? Remember, I was on America's Got Talent, and I said,
right, Rema robot,
right? So yeah, our people talk in metaphors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say here? Do I have to say it?
Do you feel vindicated?
No, I feel like I should be a prophet.
Say for the people them. Say for the people them. Because Panama prophets. We are actual, brother. So we are actual prophets here.
I understand. I am happy, first of all, that we now have a road that goes like this. Yeah. I'm very happy. But the excitement is exactly the excitement that was in my village when there was a new traffic light.
Oh, yes.
Right. That joke was based on a true story.
It's a true story, but it's 1,000 true stories.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 true stories. It's not
nationwide true story.
Yes.
What did you want to say, Munashi? Did you have
No.
About TRABABLAS?
No. Carry on.
Yeah, so we're excited. So I'm happy. Yeah. As soon as I go to Zimbabwe in August, I am going to take photos there with my whole family.
John, so I just want to say that I'm very happy, brother. You are finally with us. I know not chirungu changwada kutaura pekutanga pepe. Now wavepo manje, because I didn't want to disturb you, but pane pawati new ndikati wena roll more apa pawazoti August apa ndati right ndikati right tauya chinoti right. Before we get before not Jawada Mbotitra. No, but that do you know what that tells me? Do you know what that tells me though? Is that you're comfortable. You're comfortable with your brother. So that I love that. But before we get distracted though. Before we get distracted, I've been watching, I've been following the discourse around this TRABABLAS interchange.
Interchange, yes.
And I genuinely want to say I am extremely, extremely disappointed with the with much of the discourse, especially on politics side of Twitter. Because much of the discourse has been about apanacho shamsira. Like on the ground there is obviously excitement on the ground, but on social media, on Twitter, there's been a lot of apanacho shamsira, apanacho, and I don't know anything that captures the level of intellectual dishonesty that is rampant in politics Twitter. Because when we talk about infrastructure development, there's nothing wrong in admitting kuti apa ZANU-PF yagona. It doesn't make us any lesser in saying kuti we do not have to criticize everything that ZANU-PF does because ZANU-PF has
that is true.
By giving them credit, we're not absolving them of every other shortcoming. But why can we not just say,
as a matter of fact,
effort? That's the direction we should be going.
As a matter of fact, by giving them credit, you give yourself credibility when you criticize. Because they know kuti you're not criticizing from it, but you're criticizing for things to go further. Because how can an interchange on that level not be impressive when it's the first one we're seeing in Zimbabwe? Just because it's happening in 2025 doesn't make it any less impressive. It's the first one we are seeing. People are excited for good reason. We haven't, like, let's not be dishonest. There's so many things to criticize about that interchange, but the fact that the interchange exists is not a thing to criticize.
And the effort has been made.
Another thing as well, whether it's ZANU-PF or Ningirigini, when these people are not in power anymore, interchange whether
that tender has been given to Mufes, whether it could have been done for a fraction of the fee that it was, whether it could have been done in a shorter period of time, at least, it's the right idea. This is the right idea.
I honestly think it becomes a yin-yang, Ningirikini. This antagonistic relationship is what the people that end up being corrupt use as a reason kuti aiwa pacho patinogona hamutombotende saka rather titoitya mari yacho. And they feel justified in their Ningirikini because there's so many things to criticize of this interchange, rightfully so, right? You can talk about, guys, we are seeing my figures that are not making sense. That's a separate conversation. You can say, can Parliament discuss this so that for future projects we can have a baseline? How much do these things cost? How are they going to cost the taxpayer?
How do we audit the tender awards? And all of that?
We can have a conversation. All right, even Zitare interchange. Can you explain to us thought process? Because TRABABLAS is a mouthful. It's not something that comes. I mean, over time, people will figure it out. But it's not a. But then I hear it's one of the president's names, right? It's one of his nom de guerres, Chakadaru. So it's a tribute. What? But you can have that conversation and say,
later.
Since it's our first interchange, can we not have? Can it not be?
You can rename it.
Can you not have
interchange? I don't know.
You know
something like that.
But none of that negates the fact it's still an important and impressive infrastructure project effort. It does not negate any of that. I just wanted to bring that up and say, this is what makes political conversations so difficult. So difficult
exhausting.
And so dispiriting, because if the stance is zvaitwa naNhingi itongori aiwa
yato kusatenda huchimanimani
asi kusati
you just want to say that there's no
and then the one thing that we do per bridge now is we also treat per bridge as a wishing well, right?
Okay.
Also treat Pabridge as a wishing well. We say things and we speak things into existence because Panapa
And
warrior.
they always come into existence.
With people
They
that
always
you see in the comments, the people that are here that are lovely. So sometimes we speak things, Rishu, goes and again. What you're here now, 5 years, almost 5 years into your journey as a global comedian as an African comedian with a global fan base. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals?
Okay, let's see.
As much as you can share.
As much as I can share. So definitely for this year, for a short-term goal, I've been working on a special,
Okay.
For for both my people, because there's things that I want to talk about, I cannot talk about here, like I explained. But so 2 specials for my people and for the global market. That's the end of this year. That's my short-term goals right now. But then if you're talking about long-term goals, honestly, man, I'm moving to LA very soon, in August. Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone
Hollywood!
I want to work with, they're saying, "Why are you in Pittsburgh?" They're like, "Why are you in Pittsburgh?" Can I tell you something? What my grandmother said when I was Chimanimani just after AGT.
Yeah.
He said, "Learn more, America, don't entertain bad friends. You don't have bad friends, right?" I was like, "Bad friends? What do you mean?" And I promise you, she said, like P Diddy.
Okay, when was this?
Like, that is
okay. No.
Before this was like this was
for context.
after
We
AGT.
need the timeline, and that was
No.
That was last year.
Please. That was like last year in November or so.
November.
Yeah, PDD already was arrested. It was there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, because
So
I thought
was
she
not part of the
slapped
party.
you with that.
No, but this has confirmed to me with the PDD is going to jail.
Bye.
Kana mhosva dzake dziri kuzikanwa kuchimanimani
bro.
Kana mhosva dzake dzakasvika kuchimanimani
Wakanda kare
he's going to jail. He's going to He's going straight to jail. There's no way. He's not
how can you escape this? You can't escape Chimanimani. Escaping Chimanimani.
No. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Hey.
You're going to LA.
Yes,
August.
We digress.
Yeah.
LA in August.
We always come back.
Moving.
We always come back.
Yeah. Yes, so I'm moving that side. It's time to do TV. I want to do all that. I want to go where the people. Yeah.
I hear LA.
What, Munash?
I hear LA is a different animal.
I've been there a couple of times. It's a different animal, man.
I hear everyone in LA believes that their big break is just around the corner. And you know what's so dangerous about LA in that sense? And I know this pales in comparison, but I kind of got a sense of that in the West End. Where in the West End, pub Pinda down the road for a beer after work, the bartender behind there is telling you I've got an audition tomorrow. The usher anokuratidza where your seat is, they've just graduated out of drama school. They're looking for their next big, like you
everybody.
You are surrounded by Vanu Varkugofa who
grinder. That's so true.
And then I feel like it creates this weird kind of environment in terms of nurturing relationships, in the sense that everyone is almost trying to figure out kuti ndakazembera mfesuyu how can I skip leverage
how can
on this?
you help me get to where I want to go?
How is this relation going to be in service?
Exactly, and that is done as soon as you meet somebody right there. It's not something that that happens in in a period of time. It's hi, how are you? I'm a director. I'm an actor. Wow, we should be friends. That kind of relationship. It's
weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So I've experienced that
and I can imagine in LA.
I've experienced that in LA. But the thing is, I'm up for it, man. I now talk to people again. I now talk to Gabriel Iglesias again. I now talk to to Michael
Mr.
Blackson. I now talk to to Terry Crews. I got Steve Harvey. I got Steve Harvey.
I know because you've been having Steve Harvey in your phone contact.
Steve Harvey on my thing. I have people that I cannot even talk about right now that I'm kind of talking to.
We are moving to LA, guys.
Yeah,
LA, baby.
Hold on. No.
Hollywood.
Just me. No, not we. Just me.
Can I just you
No, but you said we. It was this conversation.
Yeah, we, son.
Compton.
Wow.
So
Masane LA, you just
oh yeah. LA.
baby.
Come on,
yeah, man. So that I have to go that side. It's Pittsburgh is. I had a choice between New York and LA.
Yeah. What made it for you?
So New York, if you really want to become a really good comedian,
because that's Mecca.
It's fast. Yes, it's fast. 6 shows a night, you can achieve that. But in terms of shorter, sets, you can get good in shorter sets. But in New York, you don't get more than 20 minutes in terms of on stage, so you won't be able to build an hour exactly. But with
New York,
LA
that's
now,
where the Comedy Cellar is, right?
Yes.
Right.
I was in there in the legendary Comedy Cellar where you.
No, you've hit all of them. We've seen you.
Yeah, I was there. You see Kevin Hart getting a spot over there. You see Louis C.K. over there, Bill Burr. I said hi to Bill Burr. You're just chilling. That's like the dream.
Yeah, that's amazing. So
that's like the dream.
So what made it for you in terms of like that distinction between New York and LA? Like when it came down to it.
No, I want to learn film, man. I want to be on a movie set. I want to learn with the people that are already doing it. Most of the people that I want to learn from are in LA.
Right.
And honestly, the idea here is to learn as much as I can there and take it back to Chimanimani.
I've been thinking about this for a while. You remember there's this famous image of that Mwanani Gagabata
I think I'm going to bar next to him as well.
Yeah. So I would like to explore the idea of Zimbabwe from different vantage points. From the vantage point of us being kids in high school at that time, seeing 2008 from that lens, seeing 2008 from the lens of my teacher, achenda kunotora salary in the morning, Mario esingachatenge maskati, from the lens of the people that were making this decision. But somehow during that day, the worlds of all those people collide in one fundamental thing. I honestly think it would be interesting, but I don't have the facilities.
No, this is a good idea, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I feel like this is a story that should be told.
If it collides, but it's just based on things that happen in a day. but
in
that
a
kept
day.
the essence of 2008 kuti vana boarding school unoza madhira amaita ana smile aya ekuti muri kutengesa magoods enhikirikini but
barter trade.
I remember inini paden pedu mdhara hameno ndharaunda akariwana kupi dhora 2008 ndobva rauya ndobva rashafwa paden ndakariba dhora iroro pakaitwa witch hunt paden ndozvimahomera anga akaita zvinhu 2008 there was an inquisition yekuti no wakamboona mudhara acho mirei kutaura but there's no one speaking. There's no one speaking but mirei pane dhora rangu
you know the cheek.
Oh my God.
The cheek of it all is when you actually factor in Mpurisa.
Yeah, I actually didn't know this. That's a good detail.
Bro.
The cheek of it all.
Yeah, but like, do you have relationships that you left Zim saying, no, Ningi, I think that would be dope. And then you end up linking with that person. Yeah, so.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I think it was always Trevor Noah that I've always wanted to link up with.
Right.
You know, because I think if you're in America, you realize that this man opened so many doors for you.
Yeah.
You know, and
because being African means something now.
Yes, you know.
Have you met him yet?
Not yet, but I'm in the right channels because Gabriel Iglesias did the same thing for Trevor Noah that he kind of did for me, you know.
Okay.
When Trevor Noah starting to come to America, Gabriel Iglesias got him to open for him all over America, you know. And he's, you know, he literally said, "Oh, I love your style. I think your style will be great for my people." And Gabriel Iglesias did the same thing for me. You know, I opened for him twice in Las Vegas. You know, and I'll tell you this man showed me the future, Gabriel Iglesias. It's so possible. I remember I was performing in an arena. It's called the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas arena. You know, I'm talking about thousands of people. And before I went on stage, I just looked at him. He was sitting on the corner of the stage. I was like, man, thank you for having me. You just showed me what's possible, you know, in the future. Something that I would love to achieve for myself too, you know. I want to perform on the same stage in an arena, you know, and you know, you've showed me the future. So yeah, man, those are the relationships I've always wanted to have, and me being able to work with this man is, I pinch myself like this every day.
Yeah, he's absolutely massive, bro.
Yeah, he's because people, the Mexican community here is so,
bro,
like attached.
Latin
like
America,
yes.
Bro, you know them men have got their own Grammys.
Oh yeah, yes.
If you're big with that market, screw the rest of the world.
Screw everybody else.
They outnumber America.
Yes,
easily.
And these are the working people. These are the people that are like in the ground, you know. And yeah, they remind me of my people, Zimbabweans in South Africa. You know, that the kind of because I have a lot of Mexican friends, and I'll talk to them. I'm like, the way you're talking to me about immigration and what you're doing in America is the same way, you know, my mother sounded when she was based in South Africa, trying to work for her family. It's the same story, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
but if you do allow me though, I think you accidentally touched on something. You are somebody who was predominantly raised by your grandparents.
Yes.
Right. Ever since I've known you, like your grandparents, like their position in your stories have been as parents, really.
Yes, right? Definitely.
What is that like for you? Like, and I say that the reason why I say accidentally, because this is actually the first time that I've heard you bring up your mom in that
interesting
regard.
Yeah, that's so true. You caught me on something that I didn't realize I said it, like that. For those who don't know, I was raised by my grandparents. Before I was born, when my mother was pregnant with me, my dad didn't want anything to do with me because he was young, So my mother was also young. So it just made sense for her parents to raise me, which is my grandparents. And they took me in. My grandfather took me in and my grandmother took me in. And they just raised me like their own. And my mother's sisters, my aunties, they were my mothers, to a point where I had forgotten which one is my mom, my actual mom, because those are the people that are around me a lot. Yeah. So yeah, and them raising me, it wasn't like an easy ride. I remember when I was in school, the teacher would say, "Go home and write a composition about your father, or composition about who." And then I'll go home, and I'll be like, "Wait a minute, who's?" You know what I mean? Yeah, to a point where I had to go to my grandfather and be like, "Yo, grandpa, who's the guy?" And that's when he sat down with me and said, "Yeah, this is your father. He didn't want to do anything to do with you." But I'll tell you this: when we met, you and me, Kandoro, that time I was still dealing with it mentally because that's the thing that was pushing me at some point to go for this comedy thing, because I wasn't really good in school. This is the only thing that I was really good at, making people laugh. So, but I'll be like, yes, he rejected me, so I want to show him.
Right.
For the longest time, that was my drive. I want to show him. He will see me one day on that TV.
When did it stop being your drive?
When I realized that I'm giving myself so much pressure, I am not enjoying the things that are around me.
And maybe giving someone too much credit for the things.
Exactly. And you don't even know if they're even watching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is my life about them? They why am I not living life, how I want to live it, So from there I started asking myself those questions.
Did you ever get an opportunity though to have that kind of
conversation with him? Not even an interaction. Yeah. Not really. They made it clear that they didn't want anything to do with me, because at a certain point when I was a young boy in school, the man came to my school, man, and to check my books to see if I was worthy of being his son, kind of. And I heard from the teachers, that somebody here came here to check your books, and never heard from him again, because I was horrible. I'm telling you, like,
Hey, okay. I'm sorry. I know.
but to base that on parentage on my books, that's.
We're gonna face who you go.
Sorry.
Sorry. Now I'm curious. What? No, I want to know. You can just laugh.
Wait. Okay,
where I was telling jokes and you're quiet. It's now.
Let me preface this by saying, we are all comedians here. A, B, and
it makes whatever you're about to say was just say.
By extension. Oh no! Let me say what I'm going to say.
Please.
You then obviously understand how comedy. Okay, I know. I know Kandoro is about to say a disclaimer roundabout way, but
tell me.
Let me preface this by saying, right, we're comedians. We find the silver lining in everything. We find the humor.
Bruh, just tell us what you're trying to tell us.
What I was trying to say is, like, niggas, you know how bad. Do you know how bad? Do you know how bad your books are to? You know how bad your books had to be. Bro, just, and I know for a fact, Johnson, if I ever come across this in a comedy set or a special that you do, you have to take this back. Do you know how bad a nigga had to have been for his estranged father, who then decided, all right, cool, I might have slept on this little nigga. I might have slept on my ticket out. You know, it's like, imagine. It's like LeBron James's dad going to his basketball practice when he was young, and he saw him being super ass, and he thought, nah, actually, allow it. I'm so sorry. It was too inviting. I'm sorry.
Zapera.
No. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Please. Now you're making me feel bad.
No, that was funny though. No, that was very funny. You might actually use me. You might actually see me use it on stage.
Please do. Please.
It's something that I'm dealing with right now in real time. That I'm growing and starting to know. Getting to know myself more. So the idea is get funny first, right?
Yeah.
And then, then you know how to approach it. It's just now when I'm able to really open up and actually tell you, because I would never, really tell somebody these stories, but it's because I'm coming to, this English word,
No. And from a self-assured point of view, where you're like, you know what, these things don't now dictate or determine how I move forward.
Exactly.
I've passed it. I'm now in my own lane. I know who I am. I know where I'm going.
Yes.
What do you think you're coming along with the ride or not? In
Exactly.
I respect
What do you
that,
think? What do you think it is, though? That has brought you to this place. Is it?
Yeah, it's. I think the great thing about comedy that most people don't understand is our ability to not fear looking in yourself constantly. Why do I think about this? Why? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? That helps a lot. That's one of the reasons why in the world comedians end up committing suicide, unfortunately. Because we are introspectors. Guys, did you hear me? Look at me. Who is this guy? Who is
that
this
animal
guy?
books? That animal books are bad now.
Green card, Jonasi.
So you see, earlier on, before I made that joke, again, I'm sorry if it came across insensitive.
No, I love it. I love the joke. It's funny.
But before I landed into that joke, and I couldn't be the money. I'm gonna end in a roundabout way. I wanted to preface this by saying my dissertation when I was doing a performance art and film, stage and TV, was my research topic was an investigation on the correlation between the ability to create comedy and psychosis, specifically schizophrenia and manic depression.
Oh,
bipolar,
yes. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So in doing so, it's basically, it's just a fancy way of trying to examine or investigate kuti my comedians, are we to some degree damaged? I don't want to say damaged or
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah. I know what you're trying to say.
In that, and in my research through that, can anyone to trauma strong and whatnot, which I can honestly ascribe to the fact that I became the person that I am, who is pursuing this career and this line of work.
Yes.
Kuti, all the research that I did pointed to the fact that there is a level of darkness for the most part, not all the time, but an overwhelming majority of the cases, there's a level of darkness that is prerequisite for one to think, you know what, I'm going to make motherfuckers laugh.
Yes. And
like panika darkness, panika
definitely.
Because yes. Darkness nega ikako kana kasipo ka. Any person whose sound are well adjusted, are upbringing, everything gleaming, everything nice, perfect. Wakanda pa stage pepe, wakashaya.
We cannot say it.
Bro, if you go on stage and it goes terribly wrong and it absolutely hits the fan, you're not coming back. You're not coming back. You're like, nope. Why am I putting myself through this nonsense?
Definitely.
I'm out. Let me go do something else with my life. But if you're a nigga who's come from or who's had to cope with, you're going to be like,
yeah. Because
you've seen it.
You've seen it.
You've seen it.
You've done already.
You've harbored some shit. And you're really into it. So when I was making that joke and whatnot, I was honestly making it from that perspective, from that vantage point.
I have jokes like that now. You know, I talk about this on stage now. I have a joke about my father.
Bro, you know? I did a whole dissertation on that.
Exactly.
So believe me,
I love that.
I know the territory we're in now.
Yeah. No. That is beautiful. So yeah, comedy and looking inside yourself all the time, like what is in you? Who am I? Why? And constantly changing stuff, learning all the bro.
And you know what's mad? You know what's mad? And there's certain things or experiences you go through and you're like, whew, that was rough. Yeah. That was rough. This L, I'm keeping to myself. But then as time passes, and then when you're truly healed and you've moved past it, you look back at that and you say, that would make a fire-ass joke.
Exactly. Please, and then up. Why are you?
And when you arrive at that point where you're like, this is gonna make a fire-ass joke, you know that you've done the introspection and that Nangrikini,
now it's not
you've purged it. Now you're like,
it's not an open wound, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. I used to have you have a story. Boom. That's it. You've Junga
that item. Junga the item nichigunu.
Yeah, you need to connect me with that coffee people, yo. I like that.
Changamiri coffee.
Yes, I drink coffee. I'm a coffee drinker, yo. I love that stuff.
So am I.
Yes.
No, and Vanu Kumara and Eastern Highlands, that's where the beans come from.
Yeah.
So no, we'll link you up. Up, definitely. Yes. But obviously, America's Got Talent now. We'll pay for my John, so this is our favorite segment of the show, Inon's Top 5 proudly
Yes.
brought to you by Changamire Coffee. This week, we are focusing on top 5 Zimbabwean Broadcasting Corporation TV show.
Homegrown things, not the ones they commissioned and
Last week we were talking Thunder and Paradise, Power Rangers.
Oh, wow.
Hey. And do you know how many, the amount of ones we missed? Mr. T.
Oh, wow.
But let's not even do that. Let's not even do that because we end up going back. So,
we'll go back.
Who wants to go first? Munashe, what's your top 5? Give us your top 5.
What's the top 5, yo?
Again, you know me. I'm a low-hanging fruit kind of guy.
Give it
easy ones. Boom, boom. I'll give you. We are Zona.
But you have to tell us what number is that? What number are they featuring on your list? Was to talk about that
you know, again, I never want to put them in any particular order because I feel like if we were going to put them in number 1, that would have to be number 1, like as a winner. But top 5, I'll just in no particular order. My submission, Gringo, and if you don't have Gringo in that submission, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
So I was going to say, for Inini, I had given mine in chronological order. On my list, Gringo is number 2.
Interesting.
On my list,
I can't fight
Gringo
that.
number 2. I don't know whether I should give you number 1. Let me wait. Let me wait. Number 4 for me, Tiriparwendo.
That's a good one. Tiriparwendo is a good one, yo.
Because for me, Tiriparwendo, that's an Aaron Chundura Moyo classic. They'd come through. This is Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
That's true.
Even the setting they tried to do, costumes and Shakadari. The story was about a kingdom.
Tiriparwendo was good.
Session and what.
No, I get
brilliant.
That.
The acting,
I get that.
proper. 10 out of 10. So that's a John. So what's yours?
Yo,
so far done it 3 my shows. Yeah.
Okay.
Turn it 2.
I would like. Listen, I loved Mkadota when I was growing up.
I'm
yes,
with
yes, exactly. Guys, Mkadota was. But I don't know. But
can I tell you?
Now let me. For me,
what's mad is my internal for a good while, and from time to time this happens, and it's such a mad quirk when something ridiculous happens to me. My internal thought, the voice in my head, turns into Makadot.
I heard it. That's it.
Who was Mtiro Wafanza?
Mtiro Wafanza was his own show. Mtiro Wafanza was a bad man. Yeah, Mtiro Wafanza was his own show.
Let me tell you.
Again,
for some reason, Mkadota propaganda escaped me. It never landed I think it's probably to do with I never watched enough Mkadota shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I honestly put it down to I never watched enough of his shows, and with enough people that revered him, so that they could give me the balance of what it was. So the little that I watched was like, that's cool, but like,
cool story, bro,
it's not like American Goulash, Nikrikini. I remember their sets used to be like this, where I could tell even as a young kid,
this is a soundstage.
This is a sound.
Yeah.
It never really landed. It was street theater vibes. It never really landed.
I feel
no, but you just mentioned something there. Street theater. Yeah. That's another one. Like the first
I had that one.
Exactly. The Kapupi ones. Remember?
Am I boy in the data?
Am I boy?
My boy. Exactly.
Waro. Adina. My
Matraburu. Hey, I remember
because what I loved about that was its actual street theater roots, where it came from, and then Vayazo
I national wouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
You had to imagine the
that's what I like. See, with you do theater, so you appreciate that way more than
100%.
Yes, that was brilliant.
Street theater, number 5, Pangu.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You. Solid one.
Solid theater.
I'm gonna throw you with the Timina Bonzo
Wani.
Timina Bonzo Wani.
Up, possibly up there with the greatest sketch shows that ever came out of Zim.
Yeah.
John Tipeago.
All right. So do you guys remember that one ends in Makorokoza?
State Blues.
Yes.
Makorokoza. Yes.
Yeah, Makorokoza. So Amakorokoza. I think so. I remember that one. Yeah, and I would watch it. It used to scare me. That movie, that series. Oh, I was scared.
I loved Amakorokoza.
Okay. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Which one was this? The theme tune gave me the heebie-jeebies. Boom, 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 boom.
Wasn't that like Shaka?
No. It wasn't Shaka. It was this drama from Gobula Wai.
It was a blues thing.
Yes.
I gotta throw representation. Come on.
It was I remember that story. It was about these guys. They stole the first few episodes. They stole Mari and they bought my B1800s. They bought these my B1800s, and they were it was boom boom. That was a fire one, but the language divide threw me off. So I never connected.
I sat through it. I did no clue what's happening, but I was like, this is riveting. Yay.
Now let's enter semi-final, gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, of course. Come on. Of course.
Wow. Oh, my God. And you know that you take it. I know you can take it. If you want to be. Studio 263.
It's the place that you want to be. Studio 263.
Man, dabva uchikoro so amanheru so iwe tidyasadza so vayaiswa on goga zamu zati studio 263. Hey, those memories, man. I remember that.
Studio 263 is number 3 on my list. Just to show you how seriously I was taking it.
Hey, number one must serious. Be tense.
Yeah.
Number one must be.
If this is your number one, I want.
That's just to show you how seriously I was taking this, because obviously by number 3, panamba 2 tati pana gringo. Because you gotta respect the goat. You gotta respect goat.
Throw some.
But this is you gotta respect the goat.
Wow.
Number 2, gringo. Why was this guy evil-minded?
Bro, he was a villain. Why was he when we look back at it, so my man was he was a
gringo was a
Ona boss pizza. Varushamsika. All right.
What a dick.
Oh my God.
But do you also realize something here? Like there was actually a middle class in Zimbabwe.
Yes, man. Yes.
Wow.
Salad. Hey, hard.
Wow.
Could I? Where are you going, son?
This was also good acting, yo. This was great acting right here.
Bro.
Yo.
Production, script writing, editing, costume design, wardrobe.
It's all bravado.
Madumbe.
And those names are perfect. Those names were perfect, yo.
Bro.
Nyarara zako because iwe ukangobuda imomo motete nyaya yake inobva yashe yavalue haikona kundidaro aiwa nyarara zako gringo chivhuriro ukanhenda ufanira kuti tinobika chikafu chemanheru aizve hausati wabika futi inga imwe nyaya futi iyo nhasi ndichanzwiririra saka muri kuda makii tipo
bro. Bro,
wow.
Like,
so you know why these break my heart?
Yeah,
they break my heart because that is Zimbabwe, Yanga Ichiri on that trajectory of producing things and actually giving that level of reverence to content. I wouldn't be in England languishing. Bro, I know for a fact that Israel guys bro, I would be whipping these out like.
And do you know you're not the only one that thinks that
no, I can't random sound. Sorry, that was a mistake.
But what I was about to say is, you're not the only one that thinks the same way. You know.
I know.
Yeah, there's somebody who's into carrying the camera and they're like, I can, make a nice thing. Imagine we have the talent, bro.
Bro, you think kwangu kuda kufika my dress 15 doing Real Housemaids of Zimbabwe when I could have been in Zimbabwe hiring 10 of the most brilliant young female actresses playing these characters, like, and to actually create work for 15, 16 actors, not to mention the film crew and wardrobe department in Nangargin. And when people come here today, I'm not gonna feel my dress.
But so who? Oh my God!
Bro. Like, whoa, my dress. Get out of here, bro.
So give it up for number 1. which is by default, because then I'm a dictator. It's everyone's number one.
No, wait. What? You can't just control things.
Because
No. Give room for honorable mentions. It is number one yangu.
No. There's no way. Because here's the crazy thing. Munasha, you know this. Munasha, you know how seriously I take this. Because as soon as I play it, you're going to be like, oh shit.
Okay. Tell you what. Okay.
Honorable mention.
Tell you what. From time you said number 2 was Gringo, right? Yeah. And you pulled out archival footage. And when we mentioned Studio 263 and you hit us with the intro, right? I know, I take that back. I know for a fact that number 1, I know for a fact that number 1 is going to be a bone cracker.
Okay.
Honorable mention.
You know what? I take that back. I should have known better.
You should have known better.
I'm sorry, my bro.
Believe in your bro.
The Faris, the one that run along John, the one that run Mr. Pittsburgh, the one that run Pittsburgh.
But my honorable mentions, I think I would throw in, like, I don't know if you guys remember now, waiters.
Oh wow! I remember waiters. Wow.
Here's my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Indeed.
Which one was Tiger?
You nigga with boxing.
Here's Cobra.
Cobra.
Cobra
with boxing.
I remember, right? Cobra, guys.
Another honorable mention. Yema baby kumemburini girls wewe wanakazopiwa mzeze and mashuga didi.
Yes.
No.
Let's go. Not a tower. But go down. I'll go even Kobulawayo. Slengiwe mtanami.
Wow.
Slengiwe mtanami. Biyata mangete. Urida say. But now that we have the honorable mentions out of the way, let me cook my boys.
I feel like I've got one more honorable mention. I feel like I have one more. I did mention Tiki, right?
Yeah, maybe
Tiki was like the Charlie Chaplin of Zimbabwe. He didn't speak. Aingorwa to my stance to refine. Oh, another honorable mention. Yeah. The one that was filmed on a bus.
What are you saying? What are you saying about the God Philip Mushangwe? What are you saying about the God Philip?
Bomba irima.
Apomba ndio.
Iweka ndorongoita zvinisana basa rese.
Ndachitotora zvangu zvikufareni.
Kufara itora zvinhu zvakapusa kudaro.
Kena rina nyasha. Rina vakatasha rina tatata.
Ndeve mweka.
Tara zvenhando. Azviti bvire pano maitiri.
I love this.
Wango chimwana mdiki. Waiona natanga ke. Waiona kona natanga ke.
Parafini. Wakati siko singakura. Chibabani. Chisumuka uende.
Tagara nishinda. Nganishira pano.
Bro, you know what inspired the Housemaids to an extent?
Yeah.
Was that beauty pageant episode and the episode where Parafini interviewed to be Mskana Webas.
I remember that episode. Yes. Yeah, I remember that episode. Yes. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Inspiration.
Do you know the reason for me? The simple reason why Parafin ends #1 any day. None of you even remember the theme song, Paraffin.
Wait. I know this.
I was raking my mind.
My point is exactly what you're doing, John. So ukazoifungisa unoiremember. Ukazoifungisa unotoiremember. But it's not a theme song that comes immediately because it did not rely. It did not rely on a catchy theme song. The theme song itself was fire because the Yangari song is Sungura. You know, Yangari song is Yangari guitar song is Sungura.
I'm trying to. I still don't remember.
It's when not you even think
of exactly when you think of Paraffin, you think of specific episodes. You think of entire episodes.
Moments.
You think of Zeno episodes. You think of Paraffin Achinyenga. You think of Paraffin Hyundai Achikisa my dream car. You know, that's what you think of. But when you think of Studio 263, one of the first things that comes up is the theme song. When you think of Gringo, it's Wheels Owner. When you think of, like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Gringo,
I get it.
Paraffin was just...
Yeah.
And then when
let's get into the meat.
When you really think about it, my episodes of Paraffin are 20. In 20 then this show exaggerate.
Was it like a Mr. Binyango 2 seasons?
Darika 15.
Mr. Binyango more than 12 episodes,
and
15 episodes.
It feels like there's more.
Exactly. And it's in that same realm of things.
Wow.
Epic.
And another layer is, do you know that Paraffin was conceived and thought of and cooked by Agnes Gwatiringa?
I swear she was like a newscaster, no?
There was no man involved in Paraffin.
Oh.
Like this is my goat. Like when I think of like Agnes Gwatiringa, bad girl.
Go on, Agnes.
Wow.
Go on, bad.
Wait, like
bad girl.
The storyline, everything.
Girl.
The script, the entire the Ningirigini.
I love that.
Script supervision created by Agnes Gwatiringa.
Wow, I love that.
She was a newscaster, was she not? What was her?
I to be honest, I just know that she was a ZBC legend. But to create that IP,
bad.
To
imagine.
Oh, bro, you know what? You know what's even crazy? Yeah. So you see, when you ask Long John, should you have won that 1 million? What would you have done? Yeah, of course, my investments, this and the other, now, boom. But I think I might have produced a Paraffin biopic. Bro, kana pane munhu ane chibhanzi chekundikandira. I will make you the coldest Paraffin feature film with myself.
Yeah, too bad I didn't win. That was a winner. That was a winner, million match. But it's okay.
No. We'll spin the block with that. We'll spin the block.
Is there anyone who wants to fight me over the
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. No, if anything, I will admit.
Yeah.
This is why I said it would be a disservice for me to just give 5 Zangu. Because had I just given you 5 Zangu in Guju, I was gonna submit Paraffin.
Right.
I know for a fact, because I would have had to think, okay, what? There's no way Paraffin would have evaded me. But you're right. Worthy number one. I'm not fighting you on that.
But I think
we are mute
a little bit.
I
think something might be disconnected. Yeah.
Panika mute pa corner.
Right now?
Oh, what's okay.
But The audio is bad now.
Lapel yako. Is it your
Yes.
lapel? Is it
I'm gonna have to connect another one.
Okay, no, but it's fine. But in that I talked to wrap up anyway. Could you know that's so that was our first top 5, proudly brought to you by Changamire Coffee. Go on, grab yourself a. Let me actually go on to. Let me go on to the website. So go on
Almost
to Changamire.
3 hours.
Yeah, changamire.coffee. Grab yourself some coffee. If you go to the tab here, Kanzi shop, you can actually find all these coffee flavors, all the different prices, all the different sizes. The great thing about Changamire Coffee now is they offer you an option to subscribe. If you know good, you're a heavy coffee drinker. Where you just subscribe, so you know every month ka package kako kari kuuya ke coffee, your favorite blend. But yeah, man, inini padeni panapa I'm actually going to be my Maita had a coffee machine that she had, but then I was like, no, I gotta upgrade you, my babes. I gotta level you
Hang
up.
tight. I got you.
Hang tight,
Provide a bay. Come on, that's what I do.
Yeah, but yeah, they've been, it's been coming in clutch. Night shift. Ndakarova night shift yangu apa urikuedza kurova zvimwe zvima-edits kana kunyora zvima-jokes wabata nhingirini uchirova brew uchinyatsoziva zvakuti this is a coffee by Kings for Kings. Iwe
King Kandorano coffee my Kings.
All right.
So big shout out to Changamire Coffee, man. If you if you are now purchasing that coffee, if you enter let me actually get up to
Changamire Coffee. Yeah, I can't wait to test it out.
My discount codes. If you enter Bridge, you get a nice little discount there.
Nice.
You get it.
Use the links. Use the link in my boys.
Use the link in my boys so that they know.
Hey.
Your way. Something is happening, Jonasi. But man, pakufamba Satan. Papa ningirigini pedu panapa.
Yeah.
There's a lot of feedback on your.
It should work now. Is it? There's a feedback?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It's a man thing.
Takato mute so because.
Utori chimumu vadhara.
It's fine now.
Chimumu cheku Chimanimani.
Mr. Jonasi, big shout out to you, man, for coming. Coming and hanging out with the bros.
It was just a matter of time.
So chaotic.
I love it.
Episode. Tikasatoita chaotic. It means good at school spark one.
Yeah, but something is happening. Yeah.
Those HR related questions. But bro, like we've kept on saying, we wish you all the best. Can't wait to see where your style
takes
you.
That means a lot to me.
It's a good thing. Good to America, they don't believe in witchcraft because I bet they would have accused you of it by now.
You think so?
This nigga, every competition, winner.
You better count your blessings, bro. Because
that's true.
They would have.
Yeah.
They would have staked you out.
No, thank you. Thank you guys.
We're so proud. We're always going to be rooting for you, bro. We're also. Do you have anything that you want to plug? I mean, you've thrown in the shows, all these.
No, I would like to just say, this is not. I'm not trying to kiss, the ass, but you guys, the podcast is pretty good. Like I've been seeing it a couple of times, the videos. It really speaks to the youth and the people of my age, you know, and I love it. Keep up the good work for you, you know, both of you. Amazing work.
It's probably the most important thing that you said this episode. Otherwise, footage yako footage yako yanga changoshaika kuti unaona Jonso
something happened.
What I just said now is what
you saved yourself. You saved yourself.
Okay.
You saved yourself.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
So what about that thing ne audio yako? I think footage yakabva I was just look at that.
This is not my show, so I agree. It's not my show. It's not my show. But
the ladies are going to want to ask you, ask you this: are you single, Jonso?